Hey there, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be making triple berry jam. This is by far my family's favorite jam to eat. I can never keep enough of this in stock. As a matter of fact, I filmed this video in the summertime. However, I'm getting ready to make more triple berry jam as I'm voicing over this video because I made probably 22 pints of this in total, and it's all gone. I only have like 3 jars left, and that's been just in the less than 6 months. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna start off here. I'm gonna give you the recipe. I am measuring this out. However, I'm pretty sure that I tripled this recipe or even doubled this recipe now that I'm looking at it. But I'm going to give you the scoop on one batch, and that is going to be 3 pounds of frozen berries. As you can see, I just got that one from the Walmart. I always look at the ingredients to make sure there's no added sugar in my berries. Generally, the Great Value brand at Walmart in the frozen section, they don't have any added sugar to them. You do not want to use berries that have added sugar to them because we are going to be putting a lot of sugar in this recipe. You are going to need 7 cups total for 3 pounds of berries. In this case, I really wish that I would have used fresh ones, but at the time they weren't available. So you're going to put 2 cups of sugar, I believe 2 cups of sugar into a bowl. I'm wondering, and then I believe you're going to add 1 box of Sure Gel. I do believe you see me using 2 boxes of Sure Gel, and that is because I doubled this recipe. But just so you know, the original recipe with 3 pounds of frozen berries, you only are going to need 1 box of the Sure Gel. As you can see, I'm getting ready to add 2 of them, but it's because I'm doubling the recipe. This is, like I said before, this is something that is literally my family's favorite jam. I'm also around about the same time I just made a straight up blueberry jam, and that is because I went to a blueberry farm and I ended up making a little bit of the blueberry jam, maybe like 8 pints or so, and then I just canned fresh blueberries that we had from the blueberry farm, and we have gone through about 2 of those jars of blueberry. But if my people have to pick what jam they want off the shelf, they naturally gravitate towards the triple berry jam. I have yet to make strawberry jam or grape jelly, and that's because in my area I just can't find like Concord grapes, and I don't want to waste my time making grape jelly from scratch if I can't have the Concord grapes. So when I do make grape jelly, I just make it from the grape juice instead, like the grape juice you can buy in the container at the store like you would drink it. You can make grape jelly with that as well. I'm getting ready to add in 2 tablespoons of lemon into this recipe. Lemon does a couple of things. It helps in the preserving process, and it also helps just bring out the flavors of the berries a little bit better. So that's why I'm adding in the 2 tablespoons. I'm pretty sure off camera on this day I added another 2 tablespoons because I did double the recipe. I just didn't do that whenever I separated out the Sure Gel, but I really tried to show you guys the process of one recipe. So what you're going to do is, once I get this all mixed up, is you're going to cook this on a medium heat. I'm trying to remember How many cups of water I end up putting in there? Did I even put cups of water? Okay. So what I did was I heated the berries up. You're not even going to add water to this. You're going to heat those berries up, and then you are going to slowly add your sugar gel and sugar mixture to it. And then you are going to bring this up to a medium heat. You're going to, make sure you mix it really good and bring to a full boil. And you're going to boil it for 1 minute. And this process is pretty quick, so you want to make sure that you're not walking away from the stove or anything like that, because that pectin, or the pectin that's in the Sure Gel, that's what it is pectin. It will boil over. And then once you have let it boil for 1 minute, you're going to add the remaining 5 cups of sugar. And I will write out the recipe that I use down in the description box below so that you guys know exactly how much you need for one batch of jelly. Like I said, I always double this recipe, so there's probably 14 cups of sugar. Well, there is 14 cups of sugar in that container, or that other pot that you see off to the corner has the same exact amount, and I made 2 pots at the same time. But for the recipe, you will need 3 pounds of berries, 2 cups of sugars at the beginning, 7 cups total. You'll need 1 box of Sure Gel, 2 tablespoons of lemon, and then of course at this time you want to go ahead and get your jars ready to can. If you're not canning it, you can just put this in the refrigerator, no problem. Put it in a quart jar if you want to, and put it in the refrigerator. It'll last for quite some time. I'm canning mine, so at this time, in the background, you don't see me do it in this video, but in the background, I have sterilized my jars. I have checked the rings of, the lips of the jar to make sure that there's no cracks. And then you want to make sure that your jar is hot, because the liquid that you're going to put in there is hot too. So you don't want to put hot liquid into a cold jar, because there's a possibility it'll break your jar. You're also at this time bringing up your water bath canner to a boil, so that when you put these in there, you can go ahead and water bath can them. Now these are pint jars, and I'm filling them up to a 1/2 inch headspace. You could probably get away with a 1/4 inch half space on these. However, I generally always, with anything that I can, I don't go past a 1/2 inch. If I'm pressure canning something, I do 1 inch. It doesn't matter what it is. But some people think that that's wasting space in your jar, and it very well may be, but I hate seeping, and I don't like it when things come over the side of the jars, and then the jars are all sticky, and you have to clean that stuff up. And I will just make sure I'm going to a 1/2 inch of headspace. And I'm just going to go through here and fill these jars up. And then after you get them filled up, because, jelly is sticky, you are going to make sure you clean the rims of your jar with vinegar, and you clean them very well, because you don't want anything left on the rims of that jar, because if you do and you go to put your canning lids back on there, it won't give you a good seal, which isn't a problem. I generally don't have problems with my seals unless I'm making beans, but with jelly, I generally don't have problems with my seal. At sometimes I do have a little bit of seepage come through there if it's not, if the jars are filled too high up in the jar. However, I generally don't have that many problems with seepage and overspillage while it's cooking. But you want to make sure you do get those rims of the jar pretty well wiped off, to where it doesn't prevent your canning lid from sealing correctly, because then you will either have to reprocess it, which you can reprocess it within 24 hours, and try to get it to reseal again. Generally, when that happens to me, I put a whole new lid on it and redo it in 24 hours, but it generally doesn't happen. I pretty well have pretty good success with not getting lifting on my lids to where it doesn't seal correctly. But if it doesn't seal correctly, by all means you can go ahead and put it in the refrigerator and just use that jar first. As you can see, I'm wiping off them rims, making sure that they're all cleaned up. I do use vinegar most of the time unless I'm just dealing with water liquid. Sometimes I'll just use, like warm water to clean the rims off if my liquid inside the jar is water only. But if it's got sugar, I always use the vinegar on a paper towel to wipe them rings off. And you are going to end up putting this in a water bath canner. You got to bring your canner up to a full rolling boil. And then you will set your timer for 10 minutes, and then you'll be able to take your jars out after it's cooled. I generally bring my canner up to a boil, put my jars, or start my timer, do 10 minutes, and then I will turn it off, take the lid off, turn the stove off, take the lid off, and I will set it, let it set there for a few minutes. And then by the time you're done, you will end up with some lovely, wonderful jelly. And that is how I go about making my triple berry jelly. This is after I've turned the stove off, by the way, and I'm getting ready to take them out. If you like these videos, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if your recipe is any different than mine, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.